Hello and welcome to Low Country Shrimp and Knits. I am Tracy, the owner of Low Country Shrimp and Knits, and we are kicking off our Noro A-line cardigan knit along today. If you haven't gotten your pattern yet, make sure you do so on Ravelry. Today we're going to just talk about the pattern itself and kind of see what we need to do with the swatch. So here is this beautiful cardigan that we are going to be making. Now, if you are using the Noro, it's super difficult to get a hold of. So expect delays. I have a couple more that I've ordered that have already sold out. So let me know if there's something you want to put in an order for. All right. It is important to do a swatch. And the reason for that is nothing is really matching. So I did my first swatch, and I've got some ladies here that are joining me in this. And my first swatch I used, and I didn't even use as small of a number. They tell us to use a size 6 with this Noro, which is worsted weight. So we're using Silk Garden, Noro Silk Garden. I'm not using Noro Silk Garden. I figured we'd try it both ways. Size 6 was way too small. It didn't get gauge. So here's kind of what I'm finding about this. With the gauge that they're looking for, they have US size 6 circular needles, 24 and 32 inches. And I was getting 10 over. My stitches were 10 over. So I went slightly larger, still getting 10 over. So now I have gone up. I am now at a size, let's see if I can see here. I made a size, I think 9. Too bad I can't see. I'm at 9. Okay. So start your swatch. Okay. So let's kind of start there. So I got the ladies here. Now, when I did the swatch count, the gauge on this one, it wasn't quite as big as they said. So they definitely did not use size 6 needles with this knit. And if you guys want to look at it, see how big those stitches are. So either you have someone that made the sample as incredibly loose knitter, or they didn't get the gauge right, when they were putting the pattern together, or whatever the case was. So here's that. Those are kind of big. Yeah, the stitches on the piece are significantly larger. So I made my swatch with, here's the original size. You can see that it's a lot smaller. And then I've done mine with 9s. Now I'm a tight knitter, so I always go up at least one size anyway. So let's look at our gauge now. I can check yours, absolutely. So, all right, here's the deal. So we want to get in here, it's looking for, where is it? The gauge, 14 stitches and 25 rows. My row count was fine. It's my stitches that were far too little. All right, so let me see what I did on my 9s. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So even this is still a couple stitches over, but I'm not going to go any smaller because I think, or larger on my needles, because I think then I won't like the way it looks. Okay, so I'm going to stick with this size here. Now, Allison, let me see yours.
This is on the 8. I have all 3 here. I have 6, 7, and 8.
Well, here is Allison's beautiful, and she's using the Noro here. It's a beautiful yarn. So let's just let's count your swatch. All right, so make sure you write this down because I got no memory. All right, so. $11. 11. So you are 22. So yeah, 14 stitches. So you could stand to go up one more size on your swatch. Did you go any bigger than the?
No. Can you just? So this is the 7. They were almost identical.
Right. So. Oops.
Well, I did them as separate balls. So I want to cut yarn.
And ultimately, we'll play with swatch today to make sure that you're going to get close enough to where, yeah, these are definitely a little bit tighter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. So you were 1 off. The other one was 11 times 2. So 22. So this one's 24. So 2 stitches off of each gate, so
it's supposed to be what?
It's supposed to be, it says here 14, and I don't know how anyone's getting 14 unless you're doubling your yarn. I mean,
Right.
it's not hefty enough
Right.
because it's it is a it's worsted weight, but it definitely has some ins and outs on these worsted weight ones that yeah. So anyway, this is why swatch matters. So we're going to play with our gauge today and try to see what we should be doing. So while my ladies here are working on gauge, and hopefully you're also working on your gauge right now, I'm just going to kind of go through the pattern and the setup, and we'll decide, what to go from here. So this is why, again, gauge, I'm a big I was like, gauge, lame. Who does gauge? It matters. It matters. Yeah, well, if you're making something that's not fitted, who cares?
Try a 9.
Try a 9. Try a 9. I never do. And then, I got burned early on because I'm like, oh, this is so cute. Here, mouse, you can wear that because it was too small.
No,
So
I'll gauge for garment, but
Yeah.
not for anything else.
yeah, anything that's fitted, I gauge for. But other than that, I'm like, eh. So I won't even gauge for hats.
Gauge is that, this yarn and I've knit several sweaters with this yarn.
Yeah.
Because I used to live in the cold weather and it was great. But if you go up too much,
Well, then it's airy
yeah,
because it's too loopy. So
And it only grows.
right.
Right, exactly. So, so you want to make sure that we're kind of getting the look that you want, and then we can always adjust because this is really a pretty, straight back and forth stockinette. So, find the look that you're looking for with your.
It's something under. I mean, like not necessarily like sweater,
Right, but
but that long sleeve T-shirt.
Oh yeah, well, this is more like it's a cardigan. It's not really typically worn by itself.
But if down here you can get away with
You
it.
could. Sassy. I like it, Sue. Woo! All right. So anyway, when you're starting to look at the whole pattern in of itself, finished measurements. So no one is the same. Sorry, if I measured all 4 of us here today, we maybe wear similar size clothes, but none of our measurements would be the same because we're humans, right? So make sure that when you are fitting for something, you go with whatever's largest on your body. Okay, so if your hips are largest, if your chest is largest, whatever it is that you want to measure to, you can always pull a little bit in, but you don't want to pull it out because pulling it out makes it bulbous and actually draws attention to what it is that you're like, this is the biggest part of me. Everyone look here. So, so we're going to look at those numbers too. All right. We are working with, again, needle sizes that, you like the way it looks. And then we'll kind of go from there. So there is some crochet. It's mostly like edging. We're not worried about that right now. So we build this by knitting the vertical front bands. These fronts are worked by picking up stitches along the band lengths, and our knit side seams, short rows, flare shaping these stitches in the back. Okay, so make sure you have your cable needles. And it's asking for a provisional cast on once we get into this. Now, your provisional cast on, you can use just a different type of yarn. Usually that's what I do, and then pull that one out when I do my cast on. Well, it's one of those where you cut the 2 needles together, and then you've got, to me, it's like, it's a lot of work for something you're just going to yank out anyway. So I typically go with just waste yarn.
What about doing a crochet?
That's what they
Chain and
said,
then-
crochet when I was
Oh,
reading.
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yep.
get my pattern tilted in.
Well, girl, you're here now. We're starting it
I know,
right now.
so-
This is good stuff. This is good stuff. So, yeah. So let's just kind of see. They do talk about scrap yarn chain when instructed. Pull out the tail from last crochet stitch. Things that sound dirty, but they're not. Okay, so yeah, it says scrap yarn and a crochet hook. Chain the number of stitches to cast on, plus a
okay.
few extra. Cut a tail. Pull the tail through the last chain with the knitting needle and yarn. Pick up and knit the stated number of stitches through the purl bumps on the back of the chain.
Why can't we just like do a knit?
You can. You do whatever you want.
I wouldn't do long tail, but I would do.
Well, if you could do a knitted cast on, and then just when you pick up the stitches from the other end, or you can pick them up in a totally different way, whatever, whatever works for you. So, all right, we'll remove scrap yarn chain. And it's going to do wrap and turns, right front band, blah, 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 blah. All right. So hopefully everyone's, got this. They do give some of the dimensions because it is a kind of a swing with the A-line.
It's tailored. You don't want to make it big because it's got that beautiful waistline.
Exactly. Exactly. So you want it to be a little,
swing coat.
right. Yeah. So you want to do pretty close to what we get
You
going
want
on.
to you want to be pretty close to base because you don't want that all give you more room.
Right. Right.
You don't want this one to give you more room.
Nope. You want this to be nice and fitted for you.
tailored.
Yes. Nice and tailored. So. All right.
Can you show that provisional cast on it? Or
I have to, because I don't use it, I have to
okay.
remind myself how to do it. But let me go get my bind off.
Cast on and bind off book.
Oh, here.
Oh, thanks. Do you know how to provisional cast on?
I'd have to look at it.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. That's, that's my
Do you want a
thing.
cord though? Because sometimes you do provisional cast-ons with the cord. Not your cord. What's the point of a provisional cast-on?
Because you rip it out.
Oh,
It's the whole point is just because you're going to take it out afterward.
oh.
So,
To put another edging on.
yeah, or pick up the stitches to then
Yeah,
grow
it's not stitches.
from whatever it is that.
Turn provisional cast-on that.
All right, let's see. Provisional. So, anyways, this book, fabulous. Cast on, bind off. If you don't have it, it's super great.
I have it.
Oh, it's a great book.
works good,
It's a
yeah.
great book. So they just they give you a bunch of different. I mean, it's not everything, but it's a good. They give you basic, stretchy, decorative, circular, double
And
sided.
they also give you cast on and bind offs that match one another.
Mhm.
If you want that look.
Right. So if you're doing a scarf and you want your ends to be
Uh-huh.
similar,
Right.
that's so here we are. Provisional 108.
I just don't know. You might need a. Make it easier with a crochet hook.
That's what
That's
they say
Oh,
in
no.
the pattern.
yeah.
Yeah, because that's acting like a cord, I think.
Yeah.
It's the one that's the running stitch.
Right.
So, yeah, like it's holding all the stitches because you want to keep the stitches live.
Right. Now that we're gonna have together with the waist yarn.
Yeah.
And 2 fronts.
Oh, that's great.
I made that one scarf.
All right. I'm gonna frog my.
The pattern you shared with me. Made it for my daughter.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna frog mine because I want to make sure it's looking the way I want it to.
So what kind of cast on did you do?
Well, this one I just did. This was just my sample because I wanted to see how the yarn played.
Gotcha.
So this is I just did a probably long tail. Yeah, probably just a long tail for me because they're fast. It's fast and easy. All right, so let me see what we've got going on here. So working the cast
I
yarn.
know if I could have any, but this is a 7. It feels nice and it looks like their stitches.
Well,
Size.
good.
Are you a snitter? Yeah, I'll go further. I'm just saying that does not.
Yeah, these look nice.
They don't look tight.
No, your stitches don't look tight. I'm a tight knitter, so my stitches always look tight. So I have to really.
I'm pretty much on the 8, but there's no way that I think that that's a 6.
No.
That I would do it on a 6. So
No.
This is a 7.
I know. I'm almost feeling like I want to go down to 8s.
My 7 was tight. I ended up with 20 that I just did now.
Well,
So
I'll
I'm
do it.
up at I'm doing it on an 8 right now.
Enough
So
cases.
we'll see.
You didn't do
I'm
all
doing it
24.
on
Did you
9,
do
but I
all
usually
24?
knit to gauge.
Did you do the whole thing? The whole.
Well, I normally do when I make a swatch. I usually make it wide enough, but then I double the height of it.
Double the height.
Right. So I will measure just 2 inches typically.
Right.
So I do the whole
Oh.
width of it, all the stitches.
Right,
But then
yeah.
with the rows, I usually just go
Oh.
2 inches, a little over 2 inches, and then I just double it to get to my 4x4, 4x4 square. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
this one, this is the only time I did this was because I wanted to see how this yarn kind of changes.
What are you using?
So this is concentric. It is haiku, baby alpaca, but it's got similar colors. It's kind of neutrals that I was playing with.
Did you give me a picture?
This I've had since last about a year, almost a year.
No, there's no. Okay.
So
I would have noticed. It.
maybe not quite a year. spring. I don't know.
I've been in there since.
Yeah.
In here, right.
Yeah.
I never noticed.
Well, long sleeve season, man. Heights usually. So, okay. I kind of want to play with 8s. Well, and since probably my daughter will end up with this, if it's a little smaller than I intend, then it is what it is. Anyway, anything exciting going on, ladies?
Cataract surgery next
Well,
week.
that is exciting. Cataract surgery.
Any friends in it all right away?
Well,
Shirley's always got like 25 things going, and she's like, do, 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 and buzzes right through them and
well,
shows me all these beautiful things she makes, and I'm jealous.
well, I'm looking forward to the next Stephen
The
West.
the Brie Ornate show.
Yeah.
Oh, are you doing the Brie Ornate show? Yeah.
Do you
the
do,
one that it was
Yeah.
supposed to be tomorrow.
Yeah, the Brie Ornate show.
Uh-huh.
do you do his shows?
Yeah.
Love
I-
his shawls. I love his shawls.
I have enough. I swear. They're beautiful.
They're-
the ones of art.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I
I'm doing his Hydra knitting right now, and it's glow hair, and it's 3 different colors of yarn and fingering weight, and it's matched with 3 mohairs of the same shade. And so on some of his patterns, you'll mix one of the fingering with one of each glow hair of each mohair.
Sure.
And sometimes you're just doing the mohair
Yeah.
for 4 rows.
And what's it called? What's the title?
It's called glow hair. Yeah, it came out. His pattern came out like beginning of December, and he actually started his videos at the end of right after Christmas.
His stuff is great. He has a lot of fun patterns, and it's quick to change out and learn some new stitches. But you have to. He's got very garish colors that I always have to see past.
Yeah.
So because
Well-
I'm very plain Jane with my.
Well, that's
with
why
what
I
make.
ended up. It's called birch frost, and it's birch.
Yeah, it's kind of whites into peaches. It looks
peach
like.
and sherbet,
Yeah.
and they're very neutral type things.
Yeah.
So that's because the other ones is purple and orange and yellow
And the greens and the neons, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
That's why I raised my eyebrows. I'm like,
Yeah.
because
It was the last color combination that he talked about. And I went, okay, because I wasn't looking at
Right.
seeing anything that looked nice.
Right.
I went, okay.
Yeah.
he was at Vogue one year when I went. And
Oh.
I met him. He's quite flamboyant.
Oh yeah, no, he's lovely. I
Oh,
love
he
his.
is.
He is so his videos are so wonderful. So that if you're making anything of his and you're like, what? He just very calmly explains it. He's got it all. He'll do it this way. And now if you throw or if you flick and continental and versus blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah. And he goes, and if you're 1 stitch short, no matter, add one.
Yeah.
You got,
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's very calm. He's very
That's
calm.
what
Uh-huh.
I do. I always do. I eat one, I add one.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, if it's 6, I mean, that's a whole other story. But if it's 1, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, if it's not throwing the pattern off, my problem
Yeah.
is that I always end up dropping one and it's lace, and I'm like, oh God, now the whole thing's off, and I haven't noticed because I'm not paying close enough attention to the way it's looking, and I'm like, oops, okay, now I got to go back, and then try to figure out where the heck I am
Did you
picking it
ever
up.
set a lifeline?
I do sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, I'll do that
Oh,
later.
yeah.
Yeah, so lifelines are smart, and I
Well,
tell
for
people to
me,
use them
I
all the
mean,
time,
yeah,
but I often don't do what I say.
'cause
So,
the beats ripping the whole thing
oh
out.
yeah, no, it's terrible. It's terrible. I'm working on cables right now. And so once I get through the first chunk of it, I'm going to throw a lifeline in there. So if I have to frog, I don't have to start entirely again. But yes. All right, almost done with frogging this thing. So, beginning of any project, first of all, not exciting. So sorry, this isn't super fun right now, but it will get better once we get
Well,
into making sure that we're making the right size. Okay.
Does the type of needles affect the gauge? Sometimes.
Sometimes, it's when you always want to play with the needles you're going to use, because every needle's a little bit different. So,
Yeah, I might want to use
whatever it is that you're going to be playing with, see how you like it. Because yarn's got feelings. It likes to be loved, treated nicely.
The yarn gets one unicorn type, and that's it. That's all I buy. Now, do you sell the cords alone also?
I can order them. So I don't generally carry them because they'll sit in my inventory for a while. But if you need something that will,
Amazon has them. I was just wondering if you carried them. 'Cause
I do carry them, especially Chagu's that's my poison. Those are fabulous. All right, now they're working on together. The waist yarn and overhead knot. The waist yarn over your left thumb. Working on slingshot position. Reach under the waist yarn.
I used to try to like put it bamboos and the wood ones. I'm like, okay, I can't do that. You need the metal ones.
Let's try this with this.
What is that you're using?
This is a knitting cord. So these are terrific because you put them on the end of your needles. And if you have to put something like put them on a side for sleeves or whatever, instead of like, you just kind of slide them across like off your needle, and then you can tie these up. And if you're making something that's fitted, this is enough space that you can try something on without having to guess if it's big enough. And we have these are like $12 for two 30-inch and 160-inch cords, and so they're just super helpful. They're like cheating. It's like cheating. So, all right, let's see here.
If you're using those cords and you're doing a top down and you put the sleeve stitches on there, do you knot it at the end?
I do. Yep, because they can still slide.
Yeah.
So once my sleeves are on, I obviously would use a smaller one if I had them. And so I put the stitches on, put it in the middle, and then I just kind of throw a slip knot into it. And then when it's done,
I've just been using yarn because I wasn't sure about knitting or knotting.
Oh yeah, knot those things right up.
Okay, I have those, and I just haven't used them for. Sleeve.
Knot them up for the neck, for the sleeves, for whatever it is that you're, instead of waist yarn.
Yeah.
And that way too, it's not going to have the memory of the other yarn in it either.
Waist yarn, it's often hard to pick it up off of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are great too because they slide. Everything slides as long as you make sure you occasionally slip it on the needle again.
I get half.
All right, so let's see. Well, your stitches look nice and in line with the pattern. So let's see what this is calling for.
I started making, did you ever see the satin Christmas balls that have all the sequins and?
Oh yeah, they're beautiful.
I ordered a kit for, I'm like, okay, she's off of school, my daughter. This will give us something to do, other than just sitting watch TV. They are so easy if you get this. I did research and I got this print. And it's like 3 days. Can you get one?
So it's like you're
instant gratification. We did it yesterday and we have almost half of the ball done.
Wow.
You're right. I thought this is going to take months.
You'll have to bring them in.
Then I'll bring the children in when I finish. They're beautiful.
Okay, so you are at 22 and 18 rows.
Okay, and what am I supposed to do?
14 and 25 rows.
So tell me what to do.
Well,
it doesn't that.
Yeah, it's again with this gauge. I think basically I'm just going to compare mine to that and see because I like the way that fits and looks. And I think that these stitches are a little bit bigger than what your stitches are for that purpose. Actually, they look pretty close. I would go up one needle size.
You got plenty?
Just one. Yeah,
Okay,
go up to an
then
8.
I'm going to have them fine.
Go up to an 8. That's all right. I got you. I got you.
This is fine.
All right. Well, I'll let you look at mine.
All right,
'cause
let's
I'm
look at yours.
already at an 8.
Okay. And I think I'm going to go to an 8 as well because I
And
think
then-
Look at
mine.
mine afterwards because I'm at a 9.
Okay. Yeah, no, these look good, Shirley. All right. So let's see here. Everyone's getting 22 for their stitches on.
Wow, 22.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 14.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just think the gauge is wrong. I mean, like,
Oh, there's 3 cords for the small up to 8.
Right, and then there's 3 for the
larger,
large.
yeah.
But that's what I think it's more than that.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
See, my problem is I use the stoppers, the little black things, put them
Oh,
on there,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
all my cords are gone.
Yeah.
And you're probably, let me see, this is just got a little bit of a stretch in this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're about 24 for, it's supposed to be 25. So in that respect,
Usually, if I get gauge, it's my stitch gauge that matches. The
Right.
row gauge never matches.
right. Well, the rows match now.
Yeah, they
So,
do. Yeah,
so
yeah. Should I go up to a 9?
you can try a 9. See if you like the way it looks. To me, my 9 was just a little bit too loopy.
Can you check this?
Yep.
One? So that's a 9
Mhm.
compared to
You're 8. So
8.
again, see how, you like, if you like the way that looks, and then we'll definitely, kind of play with the needles based on that.
What size did you make that cardigan?
I didn't make that one. That
Oh.
was a sample.
Oh,
Yeah.
What size is that?
That one they didn't say.
Oh,
They didn't say. And that's part of my
Okay.
challenge is trying to,
Yeah.
kind of deconstruct what they've done. They might.
I can't see a company like Noro not doing it. And they're too big now.
So that's got to be too big because this is the 8 and my stitches are bigger than what's on here, and that's a 9.
That's what I'm saying. Their gauge, I think their gauge is off.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're at, for rows, you're at 22 rows. And for your stitches,
I didn't cast on as many this time.
that's okay. I'm just going to do 2 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you're 18. So this one is definitely the closest. You're only off a couple stitches. So just
So
decide.
Look at this. Here's theirs.
Mhm.
Here's mine.
Yeah.
And that's an 8.
Right.
And my stitches are bigger, right? Am I reading it
Your
wrong?
stitches are, yes, a little bit.
And then these must be even bigger.
Yes. That's why I'm saying, let's make it look the way that we like to make it look. I'm
think
sticking
I-
with my 8s.
I think I prefer the 8.
I like, Shirley, are you going with 8?
I can. Yeah.
It's up to you. No, you don't have to. You don't have to go with whatever.
If the rows are more important than the stitches, my row gauge is closest to the gauge.
Well, the thing is, because it is quite long, I think only a row or two is not going to really make it a big difference. It's always the stitch that makes it, can make or break, in my opinion, Yes, and it does. It's definitely going to grow. So
And I have knit with Noro before, and I've never.
Everything grows.
including
Well,
me.
I've made little sweaters or vests, but I've never made a jacket, so I don't have too
So
much
then, how do we pick the
experience.
size then?
well, what I would do is, and I'm not even seeing this information like really, because here's a bust 38, 40, and 42. So determine your, the size that you want to go with based on whatever is, because the length is going to be 26 inches is according to this, but it's the bust where it buttons is, unless it's your hips that's bigger. And so we'll have to determine 38, 40, or 42 is really what they're playing with for the size here. So I'm probably going to go just in the middle because
Well, see, that's the other thing. They're not, their sizes are slightly different than US.
Mhm.
right?
Right. So with the inches,
Right.
so I would, unless you know your measurements, and I mean, I make enough sweaters that I know where I kind of lie with that, and there's going to stretch too. So remember, it's not talking about any ease that I'm
I was
seeing.
just going to
I don't
ask
see
you
any
about that,
ease.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
All right, so I'm gonna go with 8.
I'm going to go with 8 as well.
Okay, and I need them.
What are you going with? 8? Shirley, what do you think? Do you want to see the 9? You're going to go with 8 as well.
Yeah, because I just started the 9, but they look awful big.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how mine were just a
9
little
look-
loopier than I
Yeah,
like.
Okay, we'll go with 8.
Okay. So, hey, Robin, would you mind bringing me a size 8, 32? Please and thank you. Okay, so let's see here. Scrap yarn, check the number of stitches to cast on plus a few extra. So, and this is my first time using a Noro pattern. So,
I've done used Noro. I've done their scarves.
right.
I've never done clothes.
They had a great pattern. I made like 3 of them. Your choice of metal or bamboo.
Oh, thank you. Of course, I would like my chagus.
Yeah.
Do you want some medals? Can I have one more size 8 chagu? 20 same please. Please and thank you.
What was that one there?
This one is Dreams. It's bamboo. Some people prefer bamboo. Some people prefer metal. I'm a junkie with my chagu. Thank you, darling. So okay. So we're gonna begin. Right, lower edge cast on 14, 15, or 16 stitches. I am gonna go with the medium size. So I'm going to cast on the 15 middle size. It says right front band. So you're going to be on the third page right under short row, wrap and twist, or I'm sorry, wrap and turn is what they call that in here. So with this one, it's got the provisional, it asks for 15 stitches on the provisional. So I'm thinking I'm just going to use this in combination with this one in long tail.
Yeah.
So
The
with
crochet-
15
I do
stitches,
remember what
it's
the provisional is with the crochet hook. You crochet a chain and then you
You
cast
throw
on
this.
into- and then
Yeah,
you
you knit
cast
into
on.
the
You knit
into
into that crochet chain. So
Yeah.
that's
what they say here.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
what they're saying there too. So, all
Does
right.
anybody need waste yarn? Does anybody want to do that?
Yeah, I guess
We have waist yarn, or you can have cords if
I
they're
don't know what I'm.
and a crochet hook.
the crochet hook. We got lots of those. Hold on one second here. Let me grab some crochet hooks.
Look interesting.
I'm gonna try mine with the cord.
I have the cords, but they're at home.
Right. Yeah, but that's a good way to try stuff.
Yeah,
That's
oh, yeah.
Really good.
Mhm.
All right, since we're just casting on and we're not committing to this, I will have us all play with these fun crochet hooks. So, let's see.
As
Here.
far as me sizing, and you saying like the biggest part, which would be my chest,
Uh-huh.
38.
38, and it will grow.
So what size do you think I would use? The middle size or the smaller size?
Well,
I mean, the rest of my body's a 2.
I'm sorry.
The rest of my body's a 2. I mean, but
Yeah.
I tend to be heavier.
Yeah.
So
Then I would probably go with the probably the smaller size.
you think the smaller yet?
Well, 38, because it's going to grow a little bit. That would be my.
Okay. You think food's
That-
gonna float on me?
I think it will be a little bit bigger, and it will definitely have a little more
Yeah.
space.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's
I just don't like my stuff super tight, so I like it a little bit looser. So
See, that's what I do too.
Yeah.
I like to have movement.
I like to have a little bit movement. So I'm going with
the medium.
a medium size for that reason. Especially if I want.
measures 38.
Yes.
What should I go with?
I feel like if you want a little space or put something underneath it, I would go a size up. I would
That's
go.
what I would give a medium.
That's- I think-
what I was
Although
thinking.
Yeah.
You're already wearing more than one layer.
Right.
You're not right down to
Yeah.
it. So I think, do they give finished measurements?
They do on the back page. So the finished measurements
Um,
on the back page.
Oh, and then we double it. Right. Okay. So that's for one piece. So
Right.
I
So
would do the medium because then you're at 40.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. So
'Cause it
I
is
think the
38
small size
finished.
is supposed to be 38 finished.
Yeah.
yeah,
And so I would do the medium because that gives you 40.
then you got a little bit of space. And even if it does grow, it's not going to grow so much that you're like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right. No,
You know.
And then does anybody else? This is my
I need a
smooth
piece.
yarn for crochet.
Thank
Okay.
you.
And just we can
All right.
I need a
And then
crochet
you-
hook.
I got you. I got you. So they're saying
I don't know.
E.
Going for my-
Whatever. I don't know what I'm doing.
So this one's a G. So we'll play with
Okay.
the G. I'm going to throw a 7. Here's a crochet hook.
Have you ever done this before where you crochet a chain?
Yep.
And then you're gonna
All right,
cast
so
on into
we're
that
going to crochet
chain.
our chain to get us started. I always like to leave enough yarn at the end so that if you want to weave it in, you're not dealing with like trying to put it through. So let's do our slip knot here,
On the waist.
slip knot here,
Yes.
okay, on your waist yarn.
Mhm.
And I'm going to, let's see.
How many stitches is this supposed to be?
This one is supposed to be, I just moved mine, I think 16. So hold on one second. It's 15? Yep, 15 for the medium size. So, all right. So we're going to chain. You know what? I probably should just use a piece of waist yarn too. Will you just throw me some, please, Robin? Thank you.
Yeah, because that won't work for that.
Yeah.
It's probably too long.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Do I just throw this too through it? Thank you. All right. So here we go. So we're going to cast on. Oh my God, my hair looks disgusting today.
Upside of looking at yourself.
I'm like, oh God, look at me. I just finally looked. I'm like, oh my God, what the heck is going on here? Clearly need some dry shampoo or something. So, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6,
So it says to do a few
7.
extra, right?
8,
Do a few extra.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then-
yeah.
9,
And then we can just cut the excess. Yeah, 'cause it's-
11, 12,
Okay.
13.
So my-
There you go. Okay.
I just find it.
16,
That's okay.
And then just.
17,
That-
19. All right, so I did 20 for this one here.
And have you,
I think it is-
does it make any difference if you just go back to the back bump?
Well, you want to
or-
go through the back bump.
Back
So
bump,
that's, yep,
okay.
so that's where we want to start
Mhm.
our stitch. So it's saying cast on 15 stitches, and on row 1, you're going to knit 2, 3. So we're going to knit 3, purl 8, knit 4.
Thank you.
And we can make it shorter.
Row 1, is that after you pick up the 15 stitches?
Yes.
After you pick
All
it
right.
up?
So what am I
Okay.
doing here?
So now the purl bumps are on the back. 8. And so now you're just going to go through, like if you're picking up stitches for sleeves or something like this,
So
you're just going to go
down.
through the back of the bump.
And do we skip the first one?
I would, just so that way you've got a little bit of extra play
Okay.
in there. And now we're going to just make sure that because we all casted on a few extras.
Oh, okay, so I'll let you do. Okay.
I mean, so you want me to
When you
knit it
start,
in,
when
correct?
you're starting out.
So
you
this
then-
is
we
just
go
like
in the
picking
next
them
one,
up,
the
right?
next one.
That's
Correct.
all I'm doing?
That's
You
for the
do-
first one,
yeah,
yes.
No, you're doing the right thing.
1,
I have it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
I
I
had a different
want
one.
it, another knit.
Why did I lose my purl bumps? Where did they go?
it twists, the
Oh my
chain
God.
twists.
Where did you go?
It's not there.
They're not there.
That wasn't right to do that, was it? I
I'll
did- I
have
used
it
to
on
show
you
you.
what I'll.
Yeah, you
Just
show me.
I'll show you
show
what
me how
I
to
would
do it.
do, and then you will make the inversion.
Yeah, that's-
You will
yeah.
do what you need to do. I'm looking for the flowers.
And if there's a way that you would rather do it, that's fine too. You're only going to have to take off 15 stitches.
I feel like I hit the klutz with my hands.
So you see how it's the back side. You see that there's the flat part
That's
of
almost like
crochet.
a pearl of the knit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you go in.
How you doing, Shirley?
Okay.
All right.
So you just go in. Yeah.
And
And so that's what I would do. I would go from this side to that side. So whatever way you go.
Yes, I've
That's
got to
the way-
go this way.
Yeah. So you might. Yeah.
I'm more.
Yeah. Perfect. So you might even want to just take it out and start it.
All right. So here is as I'm going, I'm on the purl bump side.
Yeah, I can do it.
Here is as I'm going on the purl bump side as I'm picking up my 15 stitches. Can't be losing a robin here.
Just really trying to stay off.
Doink. I don't like that one. So this yarn is super fun, but it is 4 strands. And so it is very easy to split because it is 4 distinct strands. So it knits up fun because it's all of a sudden one of the strands changes colors and then the second one over time. So it's a nice gradual fade, but it's definitely cumbersome to play with. You know, and you could always use a crochet hook at this stage too, through the back of the loop, and then just transfer them onto your needles. Three, 6, 9. So that's the excitement going on here. Got a new article that they've asked me to write about, so I got to do that this weekend. Good times. Bluffton Sun.
Oh,
Yeah, the Bluffton Sun. So I write a humor column for the Bluffton Sun, and then occasionally they ask me to pick up something else.
How come I've never noticed it?
I don't know. How come you haven't?
I mean, I get the Bluffton Sun, and
I'm always towards the back.
Okay.
The picture doesn't look that much like you.
No?
Person. I don't. Yeah.
Really? Okay. It's a recent picture. My daughter took it of me.
It's a great. No, it's just.
Yeah.
Are you in this?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've
so-
got it at home.
So my the one that just came out is about New Year's resolutions and the failure that I
One that I don't get.
I'm here to try. And
Isn't today
today is the National Quitting Day. Oh, is it the 16th? For some reason I thought,
okay.
I don't know, it might be today. I don't know. I can't keep
it. All I know is I went to the gym the other day and it was so crowded.
Oh yeah, well this
It
is
makes me
the same
crazy.
thing.
yeah, because you're like, well, you're never here.
You're never here.
You're never here. Why are you here
I'm
now?
Can
Yeah.
I please have people were diving for machines.
Oh yeah.
It reminded me of like going to church on Easter Sunday. And
Oh.
nobody, all the regulars don't even get a seat.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope I did this right. You're gonna have to check.
I will check.
Okay.
Well, in my playing with these, I didn't crochet enough. So now I've got to add up because I keep dropping them because yay.
How's your daughter's college search?
So Lena's college search is going really well. She heard back from 2 of her schools that she really loved. She got a big scholarship to Tulane.
Ooh.
Yeah. And she also got a scholarship to College of Charleston. So, we've got a bunch of others that we're still kind of waiting to hear, and they're all spaced out as to when they're going to make their announcements.
Nice to know something though.
Yeah. So we were excited about that. And, it's 2 schools that she really, really, really loves. So
Tulane, aren't you worried about that?
I am worried about Tulane. I told her I would like her in if it's up to me, I would say I'd like her to stay in state for undergrad because she wants med school. And I said, well, then when you get, to the next level, then go to Tulane or go to NYU. Tulane's weather in and of itself is scary, and the environment for a teenage girl can be daunting. And
First time on their own.
yeah, so it's not my top choice, but I have to let her make her life choices. So
Happy with for me because it was kind of like best of both worlds.
right. So I'm hoping that she 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. One more.
Tulane's a good school.
Tulane's a terrific school. So there's pros and cons, but Tulane is for 1 year of Tulane is almost all 4 years of College of Charleston. So even with the scholarship, so it's, $60,000 helps, but it's, still quite a bit to bite. Okay, let me see yours. So here are mine. I've got all my 15 on here. Those look terrific. That looks great. It looks great. So basically, perfect. No, I mean, they don't have to be, these are, you're going to pick these stitches up again. Okay. So the whole point of the provisional is that when we come down to it, then just boink these out and you're still left with stitches. You're not then trying to. So if this guy is too long, which mine is the size of Egypt here, you can cut that one down and we can go there. So we've got all of our stitches on here. Now the wrong side, we're starting off with row 1. They're going to have us knit 3, purl 8, and knit 4. So here we go. We're on the right front band.
Only beef about. Oh no, I got that one out. They do have knots in it. Noro.
In Noro, yeah.
3, 8, 4. Yeah.
Where are you reading? Just so I understand.
Right front band. We're on now on row 1, wrong side. 1, 2, 3.
Now, this is the normal time for this knit along.
Fridays from,
Weeklies.
yep, every week from noon to 1.
Oh, okay. I didn't know how long it was going to last.
I won't be here next Friday.
That's okay. That's all right.
I gotta
yeah.
highlight my numbers.
Yeah, me too.
And knit 4. Yeah, I got to highlight them all too. I didn't know how far we'd get today. And
Yeah, you know.
well, I had them all printed out and they were in this little bin that I was like, oh, I've got this all here and I've got this. And it was all in this nice little tin and it's still at my dad's house. So I'm like, oh, okie doke. So I'll start again. All right. So row 2 and 4. So now we're just moving on. Knit 12, purl 3. At some point, once it becomes more consistent, I'm a big stitch marker fan, so I'll be throwing stitch markers in mine. Sorry, I'm kind of off camera on everybody here, but yeah.
I thought you had markers. I'm surprised. I think that's a great suggestion.
Well, we have a bunch of people that, right, we have a bunch of people that have signed on and are doing it from home or from other places. And I have 2 that were ordered and they haven't come in yet. So we are still waiting for those. And so we'll be in all different states of, yeah. So, but it's such a cool jacket. I don't know if I'm going to give this one to my daughter.
No, I'm not getting it. Oh, she's too big for it.
My daughter claims everything, and she's always, she's smaller than I. So I'm like, oh, fine. All right, rows 3, rep row 1. Now is a good time if you want to throw some tape on there. Do we have any of the highlight tape? Oh, can you hand that to me, Shirley, when you get a chance, please?
Oh,
The highlight tape. Yep.
okay.
So highlight tape's a good friend. Also, my maker board is just in my car, but that's also a great way to stay on top of what row you're on. If you would like some.
Do you have just stitch counters that go on your needles or my go-to?
Stitch, like the row counter
Yeah,
ones, the
yeah.
chains. Yep, I do have
I'll
those.
go.
So yeah, I can grab one of those for you. All right, so now I'm on row 3. Be right back.
Hi. How are you?
Have you been here through the Christmas holiday? Have you come all the weeks?
I didn't come the 2 Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, but I was here last week. We missed you.
How did you see? I just disappeared from Thanksgiving on because, yeah, I go full blown. It happens every year. I go MIA from Thanksgiving.
All right, have
to
some
New
of
Year.
these row counters. These are a little bit bigger size.
I'm looking at like
The clicker one?
the one that, let me go looking.
The clicky ones?
The one that goes right on your needle.
Oh, the
Well, these go on your needle.
Yeah, I want.
But you're looking for one like a like the plastic one?
Yeah. Do you have
I know I
those?
have. I definitely have one in there. Yeah. You go grab some of those.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That's my thing. I'm used to it. It's not right.
Oh.
And I have so many projects going on right now that I think I've run out,
Mm.
which is pretty sad to say.
So I have a couple different
Okay.
guys that, and then these two. Right now, I'm not going to hold. I'm going to hold off on my chain and just do.
I'm going to take these two. I'll get. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Sue, are you good?
So how do
Alright.
these work? I mean, this is
These
just
are-
what I've used all my
Oh my
life.
God, these are fun. So I will show you. So with the chain, especially if you're working in the round, you just kind of put it between rows, and then when you hit that row, you just go up to the next. You just kind of put your needle right in the next number, so you remember what row you're on. Here, if you're doing back and forth straight, I usually put it like right after the first or second loop, so that I know, and I know I do it on even numbers, so I know when I'm coming back.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're just great. All right, that way I don't forget to, row one. Okay. So, 2. Two.
So I'm on row 4 now, right? 1, 2, 3, and then I should be on 4. But 4 wouldn't be the.
Did you count the top, the one that you just did?
This too.
So 1.
So you are 1, 2, 3, 4. You're on 5 now.
That's
4 is the one that's on your needles.
It doesn't make sense because I'm not.
Well, are you on the purl side or you're on the knit side? You're on the purl side right now, right? That's the back. That's the wrong side.
Right. I just did what I thought was 3. Yeah. So now I think I'm going to be knitting. So that's 4, right?
Okay, let's see here. Well, you got your
I
cast
actually
on.
have to grab this. It's my daughter.
Yeah, go.
Hey, no.
2.
How are you, honey? I'm out, but I can talk to you. How are you?
I mean, I'm counting. She's done 4.
This is a possibility, but you have to order.
But maybe it's the cast on row here. So she's on this side. Yes, so she's on 4. Do, do, do. What are you looking for, Robin?
DK cotton. But I don't think
DK cotton. There's a bunch that just came in. So there's some.
the marled, right? Like the summer light.
Yep. So we also have.
No, it's. I think I found them all.
Okay. This here, spin. That's cotton.
Yes.
And we have
solid color. Yeah. Well,
4. Three, 4. All right, now I'm on row 4. 9, 10, 12. So far, pretty simple. Just back and forth, creating your ribbing. I mean, your edges. We're up row 1. Side. For those of you just joining, we decided to go with size 8 needles. For all 4 of us decided that was the gauge that we liked, the way it looked best. Because even with different types of yarns and using the yarn they suggest, nobody was getting exactly what they said in the pattern. All right. All right. How are we liking the Noro so far? You like the way it feels?
I love Noro.
Yeah.
Oh, I love all Noro.
But you know, Noro's interesting. People are very passionate one way or the other. They either really love working with it, or they're like, "Oh God."
Well, this one's soft, but some of the wool smear scratches.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
Silk Garden is lovely, and it
Yeah,
just
this is beautiful.
yeah, and they have some beautiful. I love that. You know, some of the striping ones are just gorgeous.
And
And
the thinner cotton one that I bought from you, that's the hot one.
oh yeah,
That was nice.
yes,
Like they come in the big ball, almost like
Mhm.
those mandal.
Yeah.
And they're pretty.
yeah. They're just
But
they're a little scratchy. So you know they do soften, but all right. So I'm on a cable row. You guys already cabling?
I'm on. I'm not. I haven't cabled yet.
Okay, so I'm just starting my cable row, and of course in my pile. Don't worry, we got you. If you need cable
I grabbed
needles,
one because I didn't bring one.
there's some I think in that
Yeah, there's some in the little sheet.
in the sheepy. There's some. I have some here if you need. I've got a white one here. I'm doing a cable scarf right now, so it's my cable needle is on my. Come on in. You can come in. Come on in.
Is this DK wool?
So DK wool is not going to be in here for the most part unless we have some in here, which we very well may.
Yeah.
So like that right there is DK wool. That says 25% off that grayish blue. So that's going to give you DK wool. See that bag right there? Yep. So that's going to be
blue?
DK. It's
That's
not-
a far cry from blue, my.
Oh, blue. I'm sorry. I thought you said just DK.
Yeah, no.
Wool.
DK. Well, I need 1,300 yards for the basic, and then 7 different colors.
Well, this is DK.
Blue wool. Yeah.
Oh, we've got this. It's got a blend of wool.
Yeah.
Lots of different things to play with on that.
You got great yarns, but
Thank
it's
you.
better to start with the yarn and then think of the pattern.
Oh, well,
And come in here with a list like this.
but you can always, so we've got, that's not DK, but I mean, I can always order it too if you've
Yeah.
got something specific in mind that I don't currently have in stock. But this isn't the DK room. The DK room's on the other side. So, it's,
Yeah, I want to stick with that for sure. All right. Well, thanks.
yeah, let me know if I can order something for you. It usually gets in within a week. Okay. Sorry. Grab my cake. No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay. What row am I on?
You are in 4.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay.
All right.
And then we have the cable.
We are cabling next. Yes. Okay, so here, the cable row, right side knit 4, first stitch left cross, 4 stitch right cross. All right, so always, in fact, I had taught someone yesterday that make sure you're looking at your key of all the information of how to do these things, because just because you get one direction of a cable doesn't mean it always is the same. And so they do go through here the abbreviations on the front page. So you're looking for 4 stitch left cross. So 4SLC. Where are you? 2SB. Knitting abbreviations. Ribbon glossary. 4 stitch left cross. All right, so stitches 4 stitch. Yeah, so slip 2 stitches in the cable needle, hold in front, knit 2, and knit 2 from the cable needle. So just a simple left cross.
Smarter.
All right, so. All right.
No, not with. Okay. No, it's in the book by.
Knit 4.
Called 2 Sticks and Some String. Is the name of the book.
All right, so we want left cross, hold in front.
And Christmas present, it's not allowed to do them, but books of caps of all some of the national parks.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you're knitting the national parks. Yeah, it's a big seller. In fact, Allison next to you is making 75,000 of them.
Because my daughter's getting married at Joshua Tree National Park, so I'm making them for the bridal party.
Because she's a really good woman. That's a lot of knitting. All right, and then you go right cross.
Oh, so 6 is the cable?
Yep. So now there is some dispute amongst knitters about cabling. Do you guys, when you are doing the first stitch in the cable, when you pick it up, do you knit through the back loop?
No.
No.
And see, I do. I do.
Really?
Yep.
From your cable?
So I do both. So right now I'm putting, and I like to slip mine back on the needle for my own
Well, so do
OCD-ness of it. And I usually, this isn't my needle, I usually prefer to cable with. But so when you put when you do your first stitch, and then when you do off the needles. So hold on one second here.
All of them off the needle through the back?
Just the first one.
Just the first one.
Yep, just the first
Oh,
one.
just
So
the first
here,
one,
when
okay.
I've now picked up this one back on the needle, then I just knit through the back loop. It's going to tighten up that hole that you get in the back.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
So
is that a stitch from the needle or the cable?
I do
needle?
one of each. So when I first move my stitches, I pull them in the back, and then I knit that first stitch through the back loop. Then I knit the regular. Then I put them back on the needle, knit through the back loop,
Ah,
knit regular,
okay.
and that tightens up that hole
Makes sense.
that comes with.
So what is this cable? We have to do what, 4 stitches?
And you don't knit off your needle, your cable needle?
I usually use one that looks like a snail. It's circled and it lays
Oh.
flat. So I don't knit off the cable needle because you just can't knit off of that with it being the way it looks.
Even with this,
It
I
is
always
on the-
put it back on.
Yeah,
Just
it is
so-
on the first page. It says stitches and techniques used right above
Oh.
provisional cast on.
So we're doing the
Well, you do both. You do the LC and then the RC. So this one, I gotta figure out where I just split that yarn. All right.
Sorry, I always have to do stuff when I'm doing these
I
things.
do.
Expert advice. It's fine.
And then through this back loop, you said? That makes
Yep.
sense. Knit one, but then the second one regular.
Regular. Correct.
And then, interesting, you put your stitches back on the needle.
I do.
Yeah, I like these little, just
That's what I use.
And then again through the back loop on the first one, but not
Correct.
on the second one.
Exactly right.
Okay, I've already learned a ton today.
Oh, good. I'm so
Yeah,
glad.
I-
This is why we do this.
But you're right, because the cable kind of like gaps.
Well, they
open where
always
the
have those open
twists.
spaces, and so
Well,
you know we
this,
can.
my lace pattern in here has big holes around each of the cables.
Well, yeah. So
but
this will
I'm not
tighten them up.
redoing it.
No, gosh, no. But it will tighten it up for you. So, and now because I've talked, I've forgotten where I am. 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, now I need to do this. So yeah, through the back loop. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, now I've gotten myself all confuzzled, so I'm just gonna take these two off.
I gotta take it.
And do.
I'll move in a second. I just
No,
did
don't
my
worry
needles
about it.
on
I
the table
can,
nails.
no, I can, don't worry about
Here,
it.
I'm
got
good
it.
now.
You don't have to worry about it. I can-
Okay, so let me see.
See, this stuff is scratchy.
Yeah.
It's beautiful,
Agreed.
but and I do need a little grass spot before I leave.
All right, now finally get that one done, and now we're gonna purl. So
I
we
don't
just
think this stitch counter. I think it's broken. See how it's
well, that one's very tight.
yeah.
Don't
Sorry.
don't buy that one. I'll don't buy that one. That one's broken.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
So 7 through 18, we're just going back to the beginning.
So we're just going back and forth. So for me, this is a good time for me to kind of stop what I'm doing right here.
Yep.
And we will pick it up next Friday here online. I will probably work a little bit on it, not much though. So don't think I'm going to come back and be like, and I'm done. So,
What should our goal be for
well,
part
just
3?
get a little further, at least through maybe the finish up the right front band.
Okay.
So that way we can get that kind of squared away. And then, set it aside so that we're all kind of in the same arena. But if you're joining us online, thank you so much. Again, not terribly exciting today as we're getting everything started. The beginning of any project sucks. And once we get into the routine of it all, then it will be much more fun to get involved. But again, make sure that you do your swatch gauge because it's not adding up. So all of us decided on size 8 needles. You may decide otherwise by the way that your pattern is looking. So reach out if you have any questions. Thank you so much for joining us for our Noro A-line cardigan knit along. Please reach out to me at shrimpandknits.com or you can email me at shrimpandknits@gmail.com and I'll be happy to, talk you through any questions you may have about this. But thank you so much for joining us and we'll see you back here next Friday at noon. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
So are you able to monitor if people are listening?
Mhm.